Let me ask you something. Have you ever lost a patient? Not because the doctor made the wrong call, not because the diagnosis was wrong, but because somewhere between one department and the next, somebody dropped the ball on a handoff and the patient just fell through the cracks. I have. I spent years deep inside the healthcare system, New York City, and eventually here in the Houston and the most large medical center in the world, managing data infrastructure for hospital networks that served over 40,000 patients, more than 150 providers, hundreds of clinical staff, depending on systems I built and or maintained. And I learned something that changed how I see every business I walk into today. The most dangerous moment in any system is never the obvious failure. It is the handoff, that quiet gap between one stage and the next, where responsibilities transfer from one person to another, from one tool to another, from one department to the next. In healthcare, we build entire systems around protecting those moments. Clinical registries, alert rules, interface mapping, patient portal protocols, because we know that if a handoff broke down, a patient did not get their medication, did not get their referral, did not get their care. People built their lives around systems that could not afford to drop the ball. Now I work with service business founders, and I see the exact same crisis playing out in a different building. The tools are different, the stakes look different, but the disease is identical. Bad handoffs. And just like in healthcare, the owners have no idea if it's happening because everything looks fine on the surface. Revenue's coming in, the team is busy, the calendar has appointments, but somewhere in the gaps between the stages, money is quietly bleeding out. Today, I'm going to show you exactly where those four gaps are and what a fixed system looks like on the other side. So let's talk about handoff number one, stranger to lead. Picture this. Someone is scrolling through LinkedIn at 11 o'clock at night and they're tired, they're frustrated, their business is growing, but it feels like the walls are closing in at the same time. And then they see your post. Something you wrote hits them right in the chest. They click, they fill out your form, they send you a DM, and then they wait and they wait. And 6 hours later, they get a response. Or maybe they never even get a response at all. That person came to you ready. They raised their hand in the middle of the night. And when the pain was real and urgent and they were ready to move, and your system had nothing waiting for them. You just paid with your time, your contact, your energy to attract that person. And then you let them walk out the door. In healthcare, we call this a missed intake. And we built automated alerts specifically to make sure it never happened. The moment a patient entered the system, something was triggered. No gap, no silence, no drop ball. Your business needs that same architecture. An automated response within seconds, if not minutes. Value delivered immediately. One clear next step that moves them forward. Not 6 hours later, not the next morning, not 5 minutes, but seconds, if not within the first few minutes. Because your competitor who's going to respond within a few seconds or a few minutes is going to book that call, not you. Handoff number two, lead to book appointment. Now here's where most service businesses bleed the most money without even knowing it. Somebody expressed interest, they opted in, they replied to your email, they said they wanted to learn more, and you followed up once, maybe twice. No response, so you move on. Let me tell you what the data actually says. Most conversions happen between the 5th and the 8th touch, not the first, not the second, the 5th through the 8th. If your follow-up dies at 2 touches, you're abandoning the majority of your potential clients right before they were about to say yes. And here's the other problem. One channel is not enough. Email alone does not cut it. A lot of people do not check their emails every day, but they check their DMs, they check their texts. You need a multi-channel sequence that follows up across email, direct message, and phone in a coordinated rhythm. Automated, consistent, running even when you are not around or when you're sleeping. I manage e-prescribing networks in New York where a missed follow-up between the pharmacy and the provider meant a patient did not get their prescription filled. We had automated leaks, error notifications, and escalation protocols because we could not afford to let anything fall silent. Your follow-up system should be built with the same seriousness because every lead that goes quiet without a real structured sequence is not a cold lead. It is a revenue leak you have not found yet. So here, let's talk about handoff number 3, book to show up. This is the one that keeps founders up at night and they cannot figure out why it keeps happening. Someone books an appointment, you're excited, you block the time, you prepared, and then they ghost you. 40% no-show rates in some service businesses. 40%. And the owner always say the same thing. These people are flaky. They're not serious. They wasted my time. No, that is not what happened. What happened is the gap between the moment they booked and the moment they were supposed to show up was completely empty. There was a confirmation email and then silence. And in that silence, doubt crept in. The urgency they felt at 11 o'clock at night when they first reached out faded. Life got busy. Something else came up. And without a system filling the gap with connection and value and momentum, they talked themselves out of showing up. I want to tell you about something called the patient reminder protocol. Every hospital system I worked in had one. After a patient scheduled an appointment, the system automatically triggered a confirmation, a reminder at 48 hours, another one at 24 hours, a text message, and so on, and a personal outreach for high-stake appointments. Not because patients were flaky, because human beings need a bridge between the moment they commit and the moment they follow through. That is not a character flaw. That is psychology. Your booking confirmation is not a system. It is a single data point. A real system fills the entire gap between booking and arrival with reminders, values, connection, and excitement that makes showing up feel like the only logical next move. Build the bridge. Show up rates go up every time. So here's handoff number 4. Client to retained and referred. They bought, they showed up, they got your service, you delivered. Maybe you even did an incredible job. And then silence. No check-in, no follow-up, no referral ask, no path to the next offer. The client who just paid you is sitting at peak satisfaction right now. They feel good about the decision they made. They probably know 3 other people who need exactly what you do, and you have nothing waiting to capture any of that. The lifetime value of that client just walked out the door with them. In healthcare, the discharge process was never the end. It was a handoff to the next stage of care. Follow-up appointments scheduled before the patient left the building. Referrals coordinated through the system. Care management protocols triggered automatically. Because we knew that the moment a patient walked out without the next step, they were at risk of falling through the cracks again. Your delivered service is not the finish line. It is the handoff to retention and referral. And if your system goes quiet the moment money hits your account, you are leaving the most valuable revenue you ever earn sitting on the table. A post-service check-in at peak satisfaction, a referral ask at the exact right moment, an upsell path that opens naturally from the value you already delivered. This is not aggressive. This is architecture. Here's what I need you to understand about all 4 of these handoffs. None of them are complicated to fix on their own. You can patch each one individually and see improvement. But patching is not building. Patching is still the same disease with a different band-aid. What I watch happen in healthcare when we move from paper charts to electronic health records was not just the individual things got fixed. The entire system became connected. Every stage communicated with the next. Every handoff was protected. Every gap was covered. That transformation took businesses running on chaos and turned them into organizations running on architecture. That's exactly what is happening in business right now. We are in the middle of the same shift, an agentic shift. The businesses that build connected intelligent systems across every handoff are going to pull away from the ones still duct taping individual tools together. The question is, which side of that shift are you on? If you watch this video and you recognize your business in any of those 4 handoffs, I want you to do one thing right now. I built a free revenue calculator specifically for service businesses. It takes about 2 minutes to do, and it will show you exactly which of these 4 gaps is costing you the most money right now. Now to guess your actual numbers. The link is in the description, or you could DM me money maps and I'll send it over to you, depending on what platforms you're on. Go run it. It's free. It is specific to your business, and it might be the most valuable 3 minutes you spend this week. I will see you on the next one.